think 16 challans. There were 16 challans on the bus, which caught fire. Most of the challans were for no entry, overspeeding, or dangerous driving, and also for lack of license. So, for the driver not carrying the driving license. That's the latest we're learning as far as these 16 challans are concerned. Going across to Aneri Shah for more. Aneri, do we also have a duration from when to when were these 16 challans issued, and what more details do you have?
Well, extremely unfortunate incident that took place in the midnight, in the wee hours around 3 a.m. This incident had taken place, and now when we talk about this very bus, which is a private travels bus, and what we are seeing, we have accessed the details of the bus, where this bus carrying 16 challans, and some of them are for driving without license, dangerous driving, over speeding, and also no entry for the bus. They have been traveling on such buses and such areas, and these challans are from almost January 2024 to October 2025. So 16 challans in just almost a span of 1.5 years, and most of them for no entry and over speeding is what we are learning from what we have got these details, where we see that from January 2024 to October 2025, there are 16 challans on this, and also some of the challans are for the drivers not carrying the driving license and over speeding, which is very dangerous. And usually, because these buses travel on national highways, they have to carry their challans and other documents of the buses. And now also the larger question remains is that where all the safety measures followed by the bus, by the travel agency or the private bus owners, is now the larger question that remains, because a very extremely unfortunate incident where more than 20 people lost their life. 19 people managed to escape safely. They broke open the windows of the bus and jumped out, but then we see that more than 20 people lost their life. There were near about 40 people who were traveling at the time when the incident had taken place. And also, according to the list of the passengers what we have, there are near about 39 passengers, and also along with that 2 drivers and 2 children were traveling in this very bus. When the incident took place, the bus rammed into a 2-wheeler and got stuck. The 2-wheeler got stuck under the bus and were dragged up to a certain distance, and that led to this very incident where fire broke out in the front part of the bus, and then it was completely gutted in fire.
Okay, completely gutted in fire. Aneri, I also want additional details on the 2 drivers that you just spoke of. Reports suggest that they fled the scene immediately after. Has a case been registered? What more do investigations suggest at the moment?
Well, Kurnool SP has given us a confirmation that both the drivers are safe. When the incident had taken place, they managed to escape from that very spot, and some of the people, now around 19 people, also managed to escape, come out of the bus immediately. But then when we talk about the case and further investigation, yes, the police officials have registered a case under relevant sections, but then based on the preliminary investigation and first they say that they have to carry out the relief and rescue operations to ensure that the injured are getting proper treatment, medical treatment at the hospitals, and also the deceased, the authorities have to collect the DNA samples from the spot if the bodies are still in the bus, and some of the bodies have been shifted to the hospital. So DNA samples will be collected for them as well to identify, because the bus was in a massive fire, and many of the bodies were not able to identify, and that is the reason why we see DNA samples will also be collected.
Okay, you spoke of the limited interaction you had with the SP of Kurnool. Let's play that reaction out as well. Thank you, Aneri, for joining us with those details.
की तरफ से वहाँ गद्वाल के कलेक्टर, ट्रांसपोर्ट डिपार्टमेंट के लोग वहाँ मौजूदा अभी वहाँ संगठन के स्थल में हैं, और उसके लिए आने वाला दिन में तेलंगाना ट्रांसपोर्ट मिनिस्टर एंड डिपार्टमेंट, कर्नाटका ट्रांसपोर्ट मिनिस्टर डिपार्टमेंट और आंध्रा तीनों मिलके आने वाला दिन में ऐसा संगठन फिर ना हो, ऐसा कानून बनाएंगे। और हम ट्रांसपोर्ट लोगों को भी हम रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं और आदेश भी देता है, कोई भी बस बाहर फिटनेस रूल के खिलाफ घूमे तो उसको सीज करेंगे। पहले जनता की जान से नहीं खेलना है, आपका जिम्मेदारी, आपका जीवन आधार है, मगर इसका मतलब है किसका जीवन का लूटने का। तो जो भी प्रिकॉशन लेना है। ये बहुत बड़ी दुर्घटना की संगठन है, एक्सीडेंट है, कोई गाड़ी बस के नीचे घुस गए तो उसमें हो गए थे, उसमें कम से कम 20 लोग की मृत्यु हुआ, अभी जानकारी हो रहे हैं। 21 लोग पैसेंजर और 3 बस का स्टाफ बचे हुए हैं, उनका जो भी हॉस्पिटल ट्रीटमेंट जो भी है तेलंगाना सरकार की तरफ से भी मिनट परस्यू हो रहे हैं। मैं खुद आंध्रा मिनिस्टर और वहां की कलेक्टर और डीआईजी से बात की है।
Accident that took place, what exactly is the reason and how many people were traveling at the point when incident had happened?
See, at around 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
so the bus was going from Hyderabad to Bangalore.
Okay.
So initially the bus hit a two-wheeler,
Okay.
and because of that, the two-wheeler got stuck and it got dragged a little bit. So that started the fire.
Okay.
Okay, so in that point of time, there were, as per the list, there were 39 passengers and 2 drivers.
Okay.
And there were 2 children also who were not in the passengers reservation list.
Okay.
So out of which these 2 children and 19 others, they were able to come out by breaking the glasses. So until now we have got hold of them, plus 2 drivers also.
Okay.
The rest we are trying to ascertain. Okay.
So drivers are safe, sir?
Yeah, both the drivers are. Yes.
And what about the number of injured who are, how many of them are undergoing treatment, sir?
See, 19 people were undergoing treatment, but they were all having minor injuries. So they have come out of the hospital, some of them are still there.
Okay. And but the casualties, the number of...
Number of casualties we have yet to ascertain, but it is definitely more than 11.
What exactly happened and why did this fire accident take place? What is the reason behind this fire accident, sir?
This accident is unfortunate and we are very deeply condemning this incident. At the time of morning 2:45, up to our knowledge, department, what is the information our department has collected, one scooter has gone under the bus, front side of the bus, and the tank busted and electric circuit has failed. The total bus caught with fire.
Sir, what is the number of casualties which have been reported and also how many passengers were traveling when this incident had taken place?
More than 40 to 42 passengers are in the bus when the incident has took place. Now the casualties are 11. They are taking treatment in government general hospital, Kurnool.
And number of deaths reported, sir?
Madam, up to now we doesn't know total figure of deaths, why the bus has caught with fire and it has become it is a very tragic situation. Approximate the deaths are around 28 to 30.
And also, sir, what are the relief measures which the government is providing on ground? Because we see this is a massive fire accident that has taken place.
Sure. The government is with the people. We will take a necessary measure to the families of wounded, deceased and dead people. In short time, we'll come to know what are the relief things we are going to given to the dead people.
Aneri continues to stay on with us. Aneri, this comment that came in from the Andhra Transport Minister was a comment that happened a few minutes ago. Has the story moved forward since in terms of the death toll? You were telling us at least 20 passengers have lost their lives to the fire tragedy. What about the number of people who are undergoing treatment still? Give us a lowdown on the numbers.
Well, that's right. Around 20 people, more than 20 people actually have lost their life in this unfortunate incident where a bus caught massive fire. But also at the same time, when we talk about the people who are injured and undergoing treatment, there are near about 12 people who are undergoing treatment, and some of them are safe, and also some of them who have received minor injuries have undergone treatment and they have been relieved from the hospital. And also at the same time, when we talk about the passengers who have been traveling in this bus, most of their destination was Bengaluru. So this bus, which was traveling from Hyderabad to Bangalore, well, we are yet to know from where these people belong to, the native of these people, most of the passengers who were traveling in this bus. But everyone's, almost all the passengers' destination was Bengaluru. So we'll have to see what then, are they from Hyderabad, are they from Andhra Pradesh, or from Karnataka? That is still, those details are yet to be known. But also at the same time, what we are learning is that the authorities are there on the ground. They are still, the rescue operations are still underway, and also the incident had taken place at near about 3 a.m. And the fire department officials were immediately informed, and within around 10 to 15 minutes of time, 10 fire extinguishers had reached the spot, and they brought this, they doused the fire. But it took some time for them to douse the fire because it was a massive fire that had broken out. And now when we talk about this local administration, they have been there on ground. Home Minister Anita is there, Health Minister and also the Transport Minister have reached Kurnool, is what we are being told.
Tell us a little bit about that, Aniri. Throw some more light on the kind of VIP presence we see at the accident site and also investigative personnel. So apart from the police, what kind of agencies' involvement are we looking at in terms of the ongoing probe right now?
Well, if you could repeat the question.
Just meaning to ask more on the investigative front, what are the agencies, who are the agencies involved right now on ground zero? What kind of a deployment are you looking at?
Well, almost all the agencies like the police department, fire department, the local administration, collectors, ministers, and also the local authorities there present, fire department officials, and also rescue teams have been present there at the spot. And when we talk about the relief measures, yes, the relief measures are underway. There are rescue operations which have been going on, and also at the same time, when we talk about the investigation, well, the primary investigation says that the bus had rammed into a two-wheeler, and as it was a night time and it is a national highway, so usually people drive on a speed, and that is the time when the bus had rammed into a two-wheeler, and following which the two-wheeler got stuck under the bus and it dragged for a certain distance, and that is the reason that led to this fire accident. And now based on the further investigation only, we'll know what exactly the details are and what led to this massive fire accident.
Okay, Aniri, many thanks for joining us with all those details. Over 20 passengers reportedly charged to death, and investigations have begun, remember, already. Of the limited official reactions that have come in, we're also learning that the two drivers are safe, though they fled the scene immediately after fire broke out, and currently a case has also been filed. The Kunool SP has shared some of these important details in terms of investigation. Right now, of course, the focus of everyone who's present at the accident site is to ensure that identification process concludes at the earliest, and those undergoing treatment are given utmost priority. That's all from me for now in this edition of News. Griha Atul joins you next.